So we all know that modern life can be a bit stressful. There tends to be quite a lot going on for most people with work and getting to work, getting home from work, in the traffic, commuting, dropping off the kids and picking them up from nursery and school, and you know, all the stuff which goes with life, all of those kind of life responsibilities. And that can be really tiring. And one of the really, really simple ways of dealing with that kind of day in, day out stress is with a simple breathing exercise. And I'm just going to show you one. There's plenty out there, but I'm just going to show you a little thing called diaphragmatic breathing. Now, because life is quite stressful, and because our community and our society has evolved more quickly than how we have on the inside, we tend to feel at a very kind of deep back of the brain limbic system level as though that we are constantly being attacked or surprised. So it's a bit like there being a saber-toothed tiger around every corner. You know, there's a lot going on. In you know, the days of saber-toothed tigers, we would have prepared to fight, prepared to run away, so adrenaline would have flooded the system and we would have got ready. We would have frozen, prepared to kind of react, and then either kind of made our move to do one or made our move to kind of take out the enemy. Once the battle was over, once the problem had been run away from, or the problem had been solved, we would have taken time to, to just like kind of shake that energy off, and the level of adrenaline in our systems would have dropped down, and our body would have started to produce noradrenaline, which is the balancing hormone. But we tend not to shake things off anymore. We tend not to go into that quiet period, the reflective period that we need to calm ourselves down out of the adrenaline state that we inhabit. So we tend to live quite hyped up lives. But diaphragmatic breathing can really help with this. Now we're going to do it as a laid down exercise, and the reason we're doing it as a laid down exercise is because it takes the core muscles, so the transverse abdominals and the rectus abdominis out of the equation, which are going to try and give you stability. Their job is to hold you up when you're stood up. So when you're laid down, it switches them off so you can just get into a more relaxed state more quickly. So when you're laid down, you can do it either with legs bent or legs straight. What I want you to do is to just bring your focus down to around here. This is where your diaphragm is. Now, stressful situations, adrenaline, tend to make us breathe very shallowly. So we tend to pump our upper ribs and use this part of the rib cage much more, and we forget that we have all of this capacity down here. So diaphragmatic breathing brings your mind down into here, into your diaphragm, and you're going to ask your diaphragm to go from being a shallow dish to a deep bowl, and you're going to expand all of this section here. So it's a bit like one of those nice big fat Chinese Buddhas. If you see those with a nice big belly, you want to give yourself a nice big Buddha belly. So you're really thinking about expanding, and it's expanding in a three-dimensional sense. So you're going to feel your ribs and this space behind your back dropping down towards the floor, as much as you're going to feel the expansion here and the expansion out here. So taking a nice deep breath in, you might want to put your hand on your tummy as well, so you can connect brain to diaphragm and belly breathing by the feel of your hand lifting up. So nice deep breath in. And out. And when you're breathing so deeply and really expanding, you'll actually feel it all the way down into your hips as well. You'll feel it all just kind of just moving. Okay, so we're going to take a nice deep breath in again, and when we get to the top of the breath, we're going to pause for a count of 2, and then we're going to breathe out. So breathing in. Okay, so I appreciate that for some people breathing down there is really, really hard. your brain's just going, what? You want me to breathe where? Because you're so used to breathing up into your ribs and you're so focused on it. And you might have noticed when I was breathing into my belly, my upper ribs really don't move very much. So here's a trick to get those breaths deeper. We're going to use a neuromuscular switching point. So along the body there are places you can rub which act like resetting a circuit. So if you think of your brain as being a switch, and in this case the diaphragm being like a light, somewhere on a light circuit there's usually some kind of fuse or switch, circuit breaker. So we're just tripping the circuit breaker, and to do that it's just simply a case of rubbing your sternum, which is your breastbone, this between the two sets of ribs, and wherever you find anywhere which feels tight, tender, sore, possibly hot, I want you to just give it a little bit of attention and rub into it with the intention of softening and loosening. Okay. So once again, we're going to take that nice deep breath into the belly. I'm going to pop this hand here. I'm just going to keep rubbing my sternum as I do this breath. So, breathing in. Wow, and I don't know whether the mic picked that up, but when I took that deep breath, my back just went clunk. Another nice deep breath in, rubbing the sternum, focusing on anywhere which feels tight and tender. And if you're still really struggling, here's another tip for you. So you're still rubbing your sternum, and bring your finger up to your fontanelle. You have a little soft spot on the top of your head that you had as a baby. Okay. And then just place that finger on your soft spot as you take the breath. Now, stick with it. If you find it really hard, then you are somebody who needs this an awful lot. Diaphragmatic breathing is just so helpful, and one of the main reasons for it being so helpful is that because you go from working in the sympathetic nervous system, which is producing adrenaline, and this deep breathing just, it flicks a switch. It's like a biological imperative. It can't be overruled. It pulls you away from the sympathetic nervous system and kicks in the parasympathetic nervous system, which is where the noradrenaline gets released. So you're going from a state of adrenaline to a state of noradrenaline. So it's really calming. If you're finding trouble with sleeping, just take some nice deep breaths. Really think about expanding your belly. Think about being like a big fat Buddha. Think about being like a barrel, but just keep going with it, and you'll learn that you can really expand and really draw all that wonderful breath in. Drawing so much more breath in is great for gaseous exchange. It means you're taking more oxygen into your system and you're pushing out more toxins, more carbon dioxide. So it's just so good for every single cell of your body. It's a really great way to invigorate yourself and a really great way to relax at the same time. Have a go, have a play with it. If you have any questions, get in touch.